help me reach 1,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts on the video. Your feedback helps make the contents better. Now let's get to the story.
I watched her face drain of all color as the doorbell rang. Sarah stood there in her towel, dripping water onto our hardwood floor, frozen like someone had just told her she had 30 seconds to live. Her eyes darted from me to the door, then back to me, and I saw something I'd never seen in 6 years of marriage. Pure, unfiltered terror. "Expecting someone?" I asked, my voice steady despite my heart trying to punch through my ribs. "My name is Marcus. I'm 34 years old, and until about 40 minutes ago, I was a network security analyst, living what I thought was a pretty damn good life in Austin, Texas. I'm the kind of guy who notices patterns. It's literally what I do for a living. I spot anomalies in data, identify threats, predict behavior based on digital footprints. Turns out those skills translate pretty well to catching a cheating spouse." The doorbell rang again. Sarah's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Should I get that? I stood up from the couch, phone still in my hand. Her phone, actually. I mean, since you're clearly not dressed for company. Let me rewind to how we got here. Because 3 months ago, everything was fine. Better than fine. Sarah had just gotten promoted to senior marketing manager at a tech startup downtown. I'd landed a major contract with a healthcare company. We were talking about finally starting to try for kids. We'd just booked a vacation to Costa Rica for our anniversary. Then came the small things. The things my professional paranoia noticed, but my trusting husband brain explained away. She started showering as soon as she got home from work, every single day. "The office AC is broken, I feel so gross," she'd say. Reasonable enough in Texas summers. Her phone was always face down, always. On the counter, on the nightstand, on the table at restaurants. I just prefer it that way. The notifications are distracting. Sure, made sense. She'd laugh at her phone and then quickly stop when she noticed me looking. "Just something stupid Rachel sent me." Rachel was her coworker and supposedly her work best friend. The sex dropped off. We went from 3-4 times a week to once every 2 weeks, maybe. "I'm just so stressed with the new position, babe. Give me some time to adjust." I gave her time. I'm patient, sometimes too patient. But here's the thing about being a security analyst. You learn to trust your gut about patterns even when you can't see the full picture yet. And my gut was screaming that something was wrong. It started on a Wednesday in late September. I came home early, my afternoon meeting got canceled, and found Sarah in our home office on a video call. Normal enough, except she practically jumped out of her chair when I walked in and immediately switched screens. I saw it for maybe half a second. It wasn't a work screen. It was a text conversation with a contact saved as Dave from work. "Jesus, Marcus, you scared me," she had said, hand on her chest like I'd jumped out wearing a hockey mask. "Sorry, meeting got canceled." I kissed the top of her head. Her whole body was tense. "Who were you talking to?" "Just Dave from the sales team, boring budget stuff." She had already closed her laptop. Dave from the sales team. I filed that away. 2 weeks later, we were having dinner at Torchy's Tacos, our usual Tuesday night date spot, and her phone buzzed. She grabbed it so fast she knocked over her water. While she was in the bathroom cleaning up, her phone buzzed again on the table. I shouldn't have looked. I wasn't that guy. Except I was becoming that guy, because my gut wouldn't shut up. The notification preview said, "Dave from work. Can't stop thinking about yesterday." My stomach dropped through the floor. Yesterday was Monday. Sarah said she was working late. Came home at 9 p.m. smelling like she'd showered. At the office, with the broken AC. I didn't say anything that night. Or the next week. Instead, I did what I do best. I gathered data. I started checking the phone bill online. Sarah's texts to Dave from work numbered in hundreds, multiple times per day, often late at night after I'd gone to bed. Calls too. 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, always when I was at work or she claimed to be running errands. I set up a notification on our credit card for any charge over $20. Restaurant charges started appearing. Lunch at Uchi, drinks at Whistler's, coffee at Houndstooth, always weekday afternoons. Always on her card, probably splitting it. I'd never been to any of these places with her. The Ring camera I'd installed at our front door 6 months ago for security. I started actually watching the footage. On the days Sarah said she was working from home, I found 4 instances where she left the house at 10 a.m. in her workout clothes and didn't come back until 2 p.m. She'd never mentioned extended workouts. When I got home those evenings, she'd been at her desk all day. I couldn't eat. Dropped 8 pounds in 3 weeks. My boss asked if I was sick. My best friend Jake noticed I wasn't responding to texts. I couldn't tell anyone yet. Not until I knew for sure. Not until I had everything. The worst part? I started doubting my own sanity. Maybe I was seeing things that weren't there. Maybe I was the problem. Too paranoid, too suspicious, too damaged by my parents' messy divorce growing up. Maybe Sarah really was just stressed at work and I was manufacturing a crisis. Then came the shower incident.
It was a Thursday afternoon. I'd told Sarah I had an all-day security training in San Antonio. Wouldn't be home until late. In reality, the training was virtual and I was sitting in our guest bedroom with my laptop. Around 2 p.m., I heard the shower start. Sarah had been home all day, working. I gave it 5 minutes, then casually walked past our bedroom. Her phone was on the nightstand, lit up with notifications. I picked it up. No passcode. She'd removed it months ago after I'd asked why she suddenly needed one. "You're right, it's silly. We're married. No secrets." She'd smiled when she said it. That smile felt like acid in my memory now. The texts with Dave were explicit. I'm talking detailed, graphic, stuff I can't unsee explicit. Photos too. Not just from her, from him too. Meeting arrangements, inside jokes, pet names that made me want to put my fist through the wall. But it was the older messages that really destroyed me. This had been going on for 4 months. 4 months. They'd first hooked up at a conference in Dallas in June. My wife had come home from that conference and made love to me the next morning. I'd made her breakfast in bed. She'd told me she missed me. I took screenshots. Lots of them. Thumbs shaking so badly I had to try 3 times to get some of them. I sent them to myself and deleted the sent messages. The whole thing took maybe 7 minutes. The shower was still running. Then I saw the most recent text from 15 minutes ago. "Dave, miss your smile. Wish I was there instead of at this boring client lunch." That's when something in me just snapped. Not into rage, into clarity. Cold, perfect clarity. I replied, "I miss you too. Why don't you come over? Marcus has training in San Antonio all day. We'd have the house to ourselves." The response came in seconds. "Dave, seriously? I can be there in 20. Me, as Sarah, please do. I'll be waiting. Dave, you're so fucking hot when you're spontaneous. On my way." I put the phone back on the nightstand, positioning it exactly how I'd found it. Then I went back to the guest room and waited. The shower turned off 8 minutes later. I heard her humming, actually humming, as she got dressed. My phone buzzed. My Ring camera notification. A silver Audi had just parked across the street. I walked downstairs and sat on the couch, visible from the front door, but positioned so I'd see Sarah come down the stairs. The doorbell rang. Sarah came around the corner in her towel, hair wet, looking confused. Then she saw me sitting there with her phone in my hand, and every drop of blood left her face. Marcus? She voice cracked. I thought you... San Antonio? Yeah, I lied. Funny how that works, right? I held up her phone. Dave's here. I invited him. Seemed rude to leave him standing on the porch. The doorbell rang again. Oh my God. She grabbed the wall for support. Marcus, please. Please what? Please don't answer the door. Please don't let your boyfriend know that your husband is home. I stood up and she actually flinched. I'd never seen her flinch around me before. It hurt worse than the text somehow. Or please don't tell him that you've been fucking him for 4 months while I made you breakfast and planned our anniversary trip. I can explain. Can you? Because I'd love to hear how you explain telling him to come over to our house. Our house, Sarah. Where we live. Where we were supposed to start a family. The doorbell rang a third time, followed by knocking. Sarah? You okay in there? She looked like she might throw up. Don't answer that, please. We can talk about this. Just don't. I walked to the door. Marcus, no! I opened it. Dave was younger than me. Maybe 28, 29. Tall, gym body, expensive haircut. He was holding flowers. Grocery store flowers, but still. He looked from me to Sarah, hovering at the top of the stairs in her towel, and I watched him put it together in slow motion. Oh, shit, he said. Hey, Dave. I'm Marcus, Sarah's husband. Come on in, man. Seems like we should all have a conversation. I should go. He stepped backwards. No, you drove all the way here. Would hate for it to be a wasted trip. I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshots I'd sent myself. Besides, we have a lot to discuss. Like this text where you told my wife you wanted to fuck her on my husband's desk while he's at work. That's my desk, Dave. In my home office, where I work to pay for the house you wanted to fuck my wife in. Dave's face went white. He dropped the flowers. Get the fuck off my property. I said it quietly, but something in my voice made him nearly trip over himself getting back to his car. Sarah had sunk down onto the stairs crying into her hands. I walked to the door. I'm sorry, she sobbed. I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. It meant nothing. 4 months isn't a mistake, Sarah. 4 months is a choice you made every day. I walked past her up the stairs to our bedroom and pulled out the duffel bag from the closet. Started packing. What are you doing? She followed me, clutching her towel. I'm leaving. You should call a lawyer. Marcus, wait, please. Can we just talk about this? Talk about what? How you lied to my face every day? How you used our credit card to go on dates with him? How you had sex with me while you were fucking him? My hands were shaking. What's there to talk about?
I love you. She grabbed my arm. I made a horrible mistake, but I love you. We can fix this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want. I pulled away. You don't love me. You don't do this to someone you love. I do. It was just, he made me feel attractive again, appreciated. So that's my fault? I didn't appreciate you enough, so you fucked your coworker for 4 months? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm done. I zipped the bag. I'll be at Jake's. My lawyer will contact you tomorrow. Your lawyer?
Marcus, come on. You're overreacting. I stopped at the door and looked at her. Really looked at her. The woman I'd been with for 8 years, married to for 6. The person I'd trusted more than anyone in the world. I invited him here, Sarah. I knew you were cheating, and instead of confronting you privately, I invited him to our house. You want to know why? She just stared at me, mascara running down her face. Because I needed to see it. Needed to see your face when you realized you were caught. Needed you to feel even a fraction of the humiliation I've felt for the last month walking around knowing my wife was fucking someone else. I picked up the bag. That's not overreacting. That's me finally reacting at all. I moved into Jake's spare room that night. Jake, being the good friend he is, just handed me a beer and didn't ask questions until I was ready to talk. When I finally told him everything around midnight, he said something that stuck with me. So, what are you going to do? Good question. The divorce would be simple enough. Texas is a no-fault state, but adultery still matters for asset division. I had all the evidence I needed, but that felt too clean, too easy. She devastated me. And she'd get, what? Half the house equity in her own apartment? That's when I remembered something. Sarah's company had a strict morality clause in their employment contract. I'd helped her review it when she took the job. Relationships between employees were allowed, but they had to be disclosed to HR. Undisclosed relationships, especially when one party supervised another, even indirectly, were grounds for immediate termination. I'd done some LinkedIn reconnaissance on David early in my investigation. David Chen, Senior Sales Executive at TechFlow Solutions. Sarah's company. Same company. And sales reported up through the COO, while marketing reported to the CMO. But both divisions worked closely together. Sarah had approval authority over marketing budgets that funded sales initiatives. She'd never disclosed their relationship. Neither had he. Over the next week, while Sarah sent me increasingly desperate texts begging to talk, I built my case. I compiled every text message that referenced work. There were dozens. Messages about manipulating budget approvals to favor Dave's clients, inside information about upcoming campaigns that Dave used for his pitches, times they'd used business meetings as cover for their hookups, expensing the meals to the company. It wasn't just an affair. It was ethics violations, possible fraud, and definitely termination worthy on about 5 different fronts. I formatted everything professionally. Screenshots with timestamps, credit card receipts, phone records showing calls during business hours. I created a document that was impossible to dismiss as a he said, she said situation. Then, I sent it to HR at TechFlow Solutions with a simple cover note. I'm divorcing my wife, Sarah Thompson, for her affair with your employee, David Chan. While compiling evidence from my attorney, I discovered numerous violations of your employee relationship disclosure policy as well, and possible ethics violations regarding budget manipulation. I thought your company should be aware. All evidence attached. I CC'd their ethics hotline and their legal department for good measure. The next part took patience. I filed for divorce, asking for a larger share of assets based on adultery, and requesting she cover my legal fees due to emotional distress. My lawyer said it was a long shot on the fees, but it would make her spend more on her own lawyer fighting it. Sarah tried to see me twice, showed up at Jake's apartment crying, begging to talk. The second time she brought her mom, who'd always loved me. That was harder, but I held firm. Talked to them through the door, told them my lawyer would be in touch, and that was it. Then, about 3 weeks after I'd sent the email to TechFlow Solutions, my phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Marcus Thompson? Yes. This is Jennifer Walters from TechFlow Solutions. I wanted to inform you that we've completed our investigation into the matter you brought to our attention. Both Sarah Thompson and David Chen have been terminated, effective immediately, for policy violations and ethics breaches. I wanted to thank you for bringing this to our attention and let you know we take these matters very seriously. I thanked her and hung up. Then I just sat there in Jake's spare room, staring at the wall. It was done. Sarah lost her job. The job she'd worked 5 years to build up to. The promotion she was so proud of. The salary that was higher than mine. All of it. Gone. My phone exploded with texts within an hour. Sarah. What did you do? Sarah. I just got fired, Marcus. Sarah. They fired Dave too. Sarah. Did you do this? Sarah. How could you? This is my career. Sarah. You've destroyed my life.
I replied once, "You destroyed our marriage. I just made sure there were consequences." She called 47 times that evening. I know because I counted. Didn't answer once. Her mom called too. That one I answered. "Marcus, honey, what's going on? Sarah just called me hysterical. She said she lost her job?" She did. She and Dave were violating company policy by having an undisclosed relationship. They were also using company resources for personal benefit. I simply informed their employer. But her career, she's worked so hard. Mrs. Peterson, she had an affair for 4 months. She lied to me every single day. She betrayed our marriage. I'm sorry she lost her job, but those are the consequences of her choices, not mine. Silence on the other end. Then, quietly, "I understand. I'm sorry this happened to you, Marcus. You deserved better." That actually made me tear up a little. Thank you. The divorce proceedings got uglier after that. Sarah's lawyer tried to argue that my actions had been vindictive and caused her financial harm, which should be considered an asset division. My lawyer shut that down pretty quickly. Turns out judges don't love the argument that a wronged spouse should protect their cheating partner from the consequences of that cheating. We settled after 2 months. I got 60% of the house equity, she covered half my legal fees, and we split everything else down the middle. Could have been worse for her, honestly. The day I signed the papers, I felt weird. Not triumphant, exactly. Not happy. Just settled. Like some things that had been screaming in my head for months finally went quiet. I saw Jake once, about 3 months later, in a coffee shop in South Lamar. He was in business casual, probably interviewing somewhere. He saw me, and for a second I thought he might try to start something. But he just looked away and left without ordering. Good. Sarah tried to connect on LinkedIn twice over the next year. I declined both times. Heard through mutual friends she'd eventually found another marketing job, lower level, worse pay. Heard she'd moved back in with her parents for a while. Heard Dave moved to Houston. I stayed at Jake's for 4 months before finding my own place. Small apartment in East Austin, nothing fancy, but it was mine. No ghosts, no memories of betrayal in every room. Work helped. I threw myself into it, took on extra projects, got a promotion to senior analyst, started running again, something I'd stopped doing when I got married because Sarah wasn't into it. Ran my first marathon a year after the divorce was final. Jake dragged me to a few bars, tried to get me dating again. I wasn't ready. Probably still aren't totally ready if I'm honest. Trust doesn't come back overnight when someone spends 4 months teaching you that the person you trust most will lie to your face while they destroy you. But I'm working on it. Therapy helps. Yeah, I'm that guy now. Turns out having your life implode gives you some stuff to unpack. Sometimes people ask if I regret how I handled it. If going after her job was too far, if I should have just taken the divorce and moved on. I don't think about it that way. Sarah made choices. I just made sure those choices had weight. She didn't just betray me, she violated her professional ethics, used company resources for personal gain, and lied to her employer. Those things would have come out eventually anyway, especially in the divorce if financial discovery had dug deep enough. I just sped up the timeline. Could I have been the bigger person? Sure. Could have quietly divorced her, split everything 50-50, let her keep her job and her affair partner, and move on with minimal damage. But here's what I learned. Being the bigger person is overrated when someone has already shown you they'll gladly stand on your back to reach what they want. Sometimes the right thing to do is make sure they understand exactly what they've lost and exactly what their choices cost. I'm 35 now, single, living in a decent apartment with a view of the Greenbelt, making good money, training for marathon number 2. I've got a few close friends, a solid career, my health. Some days are better than others. Some days I still get angry about the whole thing. Some days I miss being married. Not to Sarah, but to the idea of what I thought we had. But I'm okay. Better than okay, actually. I'm building something real now. Something that's actually mine, not built on lies and wishful thinking. And Sarah? Last I heard, she's still trying to rebuild her career, still explaining that gap in her resume, still living with the consequences of thinking she could have everything, a husband at home and a boyfriend on the side, without anything ever catching fire. Turns out I'm pretty good at catching fire. It's what I do for a living after all. Thanks for watching this story. If you made it this far, drop a comment below and let me know where you're watching from. I'm curious how far around the world these revenge stories reach. And here's my question for you. Do you think Marcus went too far by getting Sarah fired, or did she get exactly what she deserved? I want to know if you would have done the same thing or handled it differently. The comment section on these videos always has the most interesting debates, so don't hold back. Tell me what you really think. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and subscribe for more true revenge stories every week. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, maybe someone going through their own betrayal, share this video with them. Sometimes it helps to know you're not alone and that justice is possible. I'll see you in the next one. Stay strong out there.